Hey, what's happening out there, YouTube family? This is Robert L. Jones Jr. coming at you again with some more Tribal Judah poetry. All right. The first poem of the evening is entitled Keep On Winning Since the Beginning, Soul Brother. Clairvoyant ear canals and acutely organic audio elements within the smartly biologic cathedral of some soundly intellectual consciousness, done be growing ever wearily stuck and nastily debilitated, so it seems, by some of them mindfully paralyzing sound bites and rusty mechanisms of some pessimistic fiction and fairy tale telling toxicity that surely be deceivingly masquerading before my greatly disbelieving cipher of righteous insight as devilishly subtle thought visions and wretchedly intuitive daydreams of chronically maniacal conjectures and diabolical assumptions, sprinkled profusely with the hellishly spicy dashes and seasonings of direfully committing jive speaking and half-truth and trickery to the extreme, and all disgustingly negative as sadistic types of stone imbecilic naysayings from the morally chapped and cracked up lips of cancellating haters and perjury mouthed chumps, be actually a pushing themselves above from the anonymous darkness of an abysmal stomach pit, and with the disturbingly outspoken bravado of a wildly arrogant diva on the mountaintop, do these innately foul and imperfectly corrupted volumes of counterproductive ignorance be a mightily striving like a desperately unruly heathen child on that maladaptive agenda of painfully discouraging a positively emboldened skulldom of strongly optimistic empowerments that the one and only Yah in me done lastingly established within this here proudly girded and effectually vitalized integration of brain, flesh, and spiritual humanization. But apparently it was never once openly mentioned like some deeply clandestine revealment or a cleverly encrypted mystery to these here disaster spouting blowhards and manically ratchet enemies of my identity, that my truly healthy, copacetic, and systematically exquisite DNA was so masterfully generated Malinke style from the earthy and divinely clean bloodlines and blood types of my magnifico forebears ancestral dynamos, who had abundantly done their supremely bad to life and superior wonderment of generously fortifying one of their richly astute and confidently motivated descendants with that celestial and materialized expertness in psychologically rising, ascending like the atmosphere reigning capriciousness of an engagingly adventurous and shown up unendangered phoenix. And just like that kingly hip and ultra spiffy transcendence of some grandly stellar and awesomely victorious sunshine, do I be a riding highly upon the outstandingly untouchable aviation of some amazingly angelic navigation that does surely have seriously settled my seventh heaven accustomed expression of flying and floating excitation into that augustly aerial and never gravitational stasis of being righteously rescued from every disheartening jot and psyche deferring tittle of ever embittered angst and demoralizing madness that has horrendously failed within their maliciously manifested endeavors in bringing me right on downward into the angrily greedy quicksands of hungrily bottomless despair and wildly gluttonous desperation to no end. So that potently full and rightly satisfying liberty of some bird enlightening and problem discombobulating levity has most definitely rendered my brightly peaked and enlightened mentality to be freely doing its own spry and wealthily peculiar thing of excellently living and realizing all of them their courageously dreamed and bravely envisioned plans and expectations that be widely opening up right on before me like an ever more resilient and ultra progressive library of colossally expansive and immensely charismatic novellas that be extraordinarily worded out so Afro erudite and soulfully Shakespearean, with their greatly elucidating passages and deep as ebony lettered columns of steel tempered proof and undeniable truth. And with some of that creatively advantageous language and those majestically literate raps of spiritedly enrapturing funky cleverness, do these specially cool and readily verifying storylines be so boldly revelatory with their bestseller enunciating gifts and talents of Pulitzer Prize, talking them praise and appreciating statements of honorifically encouraging beatitude about this steadily enduring and constantly persevering element of African American existence, who is shown enough never endingly pressing on ahead and successfully moving on forward, like a lying obstacle defying millennial who is so powerfully instrumental within his mocking mountain seeking credentials of phenomenally breaking through and busting forth valiantly from all of those crazily heavy duty barriers of fearfully obstructive tribulations and show enough dastardly barricades of falsely stultifying doubts and limiting hardness of life. And there is absolutely nothing that the madly caterwauling contenders and those doomsday predicating foes and rivals be able to defiantly perpetrate against my purely golden survivalist tactics in going far past that bitterly shielding encumbrance of their bamboo curtains and iron draperies of rudely hindering restriction and halting vicissitude. And thusly, with the sweetly emancipative vividness of some totally persisting and strongly unremitting authority, with this worldly and cosmic posterity of terrestrial and empyrean manufacture be so freely indebted unto his only self, in boldly tearing down all segregating manner of those sorely demented fences and them treacherous enclosures of horridly impending surrender. And just like the perfectly determined and unhesitatingly prevailing man that I am, will I be shown enough of proving my inner laudable and outer commendable members as being so truly deserving, like a righteously praiseworthy king extraordinaire, within their actively discovering curiosities and their keenly sensitive abilities in abundantly encountering the expensively blessed and eternally correct experience of a completely whole, well-rounded, and all the way together individual, with that entirely intact and strictly undefeated groove of keep it on with his keep it on, of just being on that highly coveted and marvelous conquest of winning, like those royally monumental and exceedingly impressive entities in luxury that have so amazingly preceded me since the beginning. The second poem of the evening is entitled Iyabo Bim Jabari. Iyabo means many trials. Bim means peace. Jabari means brave. Stone, cooler than cool, and totally copacetic evermore. Is for showing up that good vibrational motor scene of some fantastically happy day and elation and exhilaration. As the colossally proper-like and extravagantly righteous emergence of a phenomenally sunbursted AM, be so magnanimously generous and unselfishly altruistic within this blazingly beaming luxury of sufficiently delivering unto me a prevailingly scintillating delectation of magically magnificent upliftment and celebrated exaltation, which through the gracefully unmerited auspices of kingly deity yielded bounteousness has surely been the mightily magnified up and massively heavy duty happening of a life journey traversing mortal framework in gold leaf, becoming so lucidly adjusted and so sanely balanced like a neo-renaissancing self-portrait upon the wall, through that steadily stabilizing equilibrium of two perfectly celestial hands, straightening out the thrivingly complex and greatly eye-catching beauty of a thoroughly terrestrial masterpiece. And thusly, the vibrantly eclectic canvas spread of diversely pigmented perspectives and vividly expressive uniqueness appears also courageously and proudly eccentric with a newly incomparable showiness of some strongly evoked and openly polychromatic grandness supreme. And this marvelously avant-garde piece of augustly artistic soul and gallery-ready dignity be continuing upon his loudly panoramic and fearlessly abstract dimensions of abundantly experiencing that surely moving and grooving morphology of positively transitioning from the yester-former glories of those past tensing victories and bygone paradigms of blessedly antiquated triumphs galore to the fertilely conceived yet to comes of latter time budded potential for richly futuristic conquests and expediently winning dispensations to blissfully interrupt and relievingly bombard all of my strivingly persistent evincings of strenuously toughened tribulations and those stressfully rousing episodes of inconveniently trying and chiding woe, drama, and asperity. And that swiftly boomeranging effect of some holy face sowing dexterity has for sure enough gotten that rewardingly karmic reciprocity of profusely empowering my strikingly persevering virtues of purely undaunted momentum and forward stepping tenaciousness to that decently recompensing operation of my optimistically reinforced cipher of highly enduring strength and bravery, bravely hardened out energy. Getting ever so busy with that storehouse satiating exertion of all 10 intensely grabber bionic fingers, amply reaping and plenteously gleaning a fruitfully rampant and overwhelmingly prolific harvest bounty of sumptuously cultivated multitudes of copiously gathered Godspeeds and decadently garnered valedictions into those majestically flurrying modernisms and preciously seminal tomorrows that will crazily explode forth their freshly vitalizing stories and captivating allegories of a stone-dope fidelic soul man doing their bravely fortuitous endeavor of incredibly overcoming and audaciously beating down and eternally defeated enemies, many played out in crumbling propensities, for wickedly maligning mind, Everest ascending ambitions and golden street striding intentions, with its simply insane and absolutely untruthful ambushments of nastily scatological scoffings and those tauntingly foul as hell mockeries, which all be really nothing unto me but some bitterly chafing word systems of distastefully paltering pips and falsities, that be unsuccessfully facing that strictly finalizing and undyingly ultimate failure of fatally pushing along this adamantly super cool and unyieldingly steadfast duke of self-revolution into the madly plightful predicaments and them painfully upbraiding situations of me helplessly drowning away within the grimly overflooding impasse of violently jeering waters and an extremely asphyxiating quagmire of aquatically lampooning hatred and motherly affronting hurtfulness. And thusly, with the bluest agua drifting readiness of a moondoggian sea glissader, I would surely be doing myself that gladly, gnarly, and highly actualizing favor of liberally letting every excellently quickened member of my commonly breathing and existing comportment into that tidal tower defying accomplishments of precarious wave gliding and choppy ocean sliding upon that hang ten predicating adventure of a cowabunga venturing curl ride, which be greatly a making my bodaciously soul-surfing exploits of hoverboard maneuvering cleverness to show enough easily escape away from those dangerously impending threats and gravely fateful perils and hazards of being ravenously devoured and voraciously consumed alive by a wildly gourmandizing school of bloodthirsty great whites, and them fatally scrunching descendants of Jaws with their sharply angular denticles of teeth-sinking rampage and savagely biting deadliness. And at the joyfully advantageous summit of a pleasantly meridian consummation, Would the irefully barbarian undulations of furiously raging H2O be suddenly and quietly shaloming on down into the calmly tamed and mildly amenable ripples of some meekly coasted ease and lullabying docility? And then within the groupily minute trice of a third eye twinkling moment in time, would an angelically harboring imperium of many traveling mercies and safely voyaging defenses be serendipitously accompanying a stone cooler than cool and totally copacetic captain of self-evolution into that appeasingly hushed and serenely laid back anchorage of a smoothly rippling body of crystal glistening quiescence and completely untroubled closure. And for that significantly contenting advantage of some ripplingly turbulent minutes turning into a truly glorious plenitude of ever victorious hours. If for sure enough be that richly unwinding and restfully chilling allayment thing for a happily satisfied and jovially rectified comfort of smiling idealism, to be jubilantly restored and silently laxed within his peacefully lounging placidity of soothingly consoling and comfortably solacing pacification, as he be confidently reposed and delightfully settled like an adversity detoxing island man upon the magnificently sandy utopia of a gorgeously ivory and lavishly sublime beachdom. Indeed, a gem in Jamaica emulating manner of Caribbean enriching exorbitance, and funky Nassau warm and marvelousness. And deeply within this grandly gratuitous habitation of festively exuberant glee and salvation, will he be so mirthfully exiled away from those torrentially ravishing casualties and rip-roaring fatalities of all disdainfully sick and psychotic haters, and their vastly ineffectual vibes and unavailing bad news of inadequately bearing gainsaying and sadly fabling absurdness. So in that Trinidad and Tobago grooving excitement of some show in the Bahamas inciting zestfulness, with a divinely culminating future of some Montego Bay congratulating extolment, will be that sovereignty unbosomed and wealthily released premium that would definitely overlay his gratifyingly rhapsodized being with a cheerfully tropical canopy of some summer breeze and enjoyments and brightly belvederean conquests unparalleled. Thank you so much for listening to these poems. I hope you like what you heard. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Also, please donate to our channel, Tribe of Judah Poetry. We greatly appreciate your donations. Do your donations. We keep this channel going. So thank you so much for your help, and just please continue to donate. I'll come back at you with some more Tribe of Judah poetry. In the meantime, I bid you shalom.